Well, here is the Quaker Christmas 2. I'm trying to keep the glare off of it, but with the front door and windows, it's kind of hard. But I think you can tell that it's framed with a green suede mat to pull those words out and a gold frame for the holidays, and it's here in my dining room area that has the red walls. We took down my 3 little girls flying the kites to put it there, so it's here with my village and with our tree. So I think it's a good spot for it. So once again, Quaker Christmas 2. Hi everyone, how are you? This is Dina and today is Thursday, December 20th. And I actually have good news. I have a stitching update. I've finally been able to get back into stitching. Anyway, I wanted to share with you what I've been working on. When we last spoke, if you watched my last video, I had to make a decision if I was going to stitch Christmas for the rest of the year or if I wanted to pick up a pending project and work on a whip. And I decided I didn't want my whips to languish quite that long. So I worked on, I worked on Nantucket Rose. And when we last saw her, I had come over here and done this side and a little bit of this white lacy apron, or maybe it's a blanket she's sitting on. And my goal was to come over here on this side in the background where her house is and start working. I did that. So here's where she is now. And I'll get a little closer for you to see. I concentrated on the greenery that was on the other side of the house that had been done to about right here. And I did that all the way down to the start of the flowers, and I even got them started. Then I came across and I worked on that road that you see, the pathway that goes by beside the house. Very confetti heavy, and I got all but one color of that done. And so I'm now at a more even spot, kind of across the picture, as you can see. This border here, this part right here, that is actually the border of her skirt. So I've almost finished that background down to her skirt, at least part of the way. And then it'll keep going on down here. So I'm sort of planning on stitching her the way I did Sleeping Beauty now that I've gotten almost to the same level. Then I can start stitching across this way, and that way I will have a little bit of confetti and a little bit of some big blocks of color in that skirt. I think that'll make it go a little quicker. So I feel really good about my progress this month, and now she will go away for the rest of the year, and I won't work on her again until January. And so she can have a quiet Christmas. Thanks for letting me share my progress with you. I hope you're having a wonderful holiday season, and I'll be back to see you hopefully in a few days with another update. Happy stitching. Bye. Hello everyone, good afternoon. Today is Saturday, December 22nd, and I have a couple of things to share with you. Maybe more than a couple. But anyway, I wanted to give you a little bit of information today. I have been getting some wonderful happy mail, and I just wanted to share a little bit of it with you because it's just one of those times, like we say, where our generosity of our stitching community is amazing. And I just want to publicly thank someone for a couple of gifts. So the first one I want to thank is Danielle Redland, and she commented on one of my videos recently and said that she noticed I was working on a Jim Shore pattern, the 12 Days pattern, and she realized that I really liked Jim Shore. And she had some Jim Shore angels in her stash and wondered if I would like to have the patterns. I assumed by that she had stitched them and I was, you know, gonna get the patterns now that she was finished with them. And I said, yes, I would love to. So I received in the mail this week a packet from Danielle. And Danielle, by the way, thank you for putting everything in a Ziploc bag, because it was raining the day they arrived and they got wet. The package they were in got wet, but they did not. So thank you for being careful like that. I appreciate it very much. So this is what I got. And there are 4 patterns. They're seasonal angels. So this is Winter Angel. Isn't that beautiful? It looks like Christmas as well. And there's a funny story there. According to Danielle, her puppy dog enjoyed that pattern as well. So I think that's great. And then there is the, let's see, next would be Spring Angel. And you'll notice this one is still in its wrapper. It's still in the original wrapper because it's never been opened. This is a full kit. Danielle, thank you. Oh my gosh, I had no idea. You may have mentioned there were threads with them, but I thought they were what you had left. Anyway, this is the Spring. Isn't that beautiful? And you know, what I'm envisioning is that these could be stitched and finished in sort of a Priscilla and Chelsea way where you could swap them out each season. And then here's Autumn. Beautiful fall colors. Lovely fall motifs in that skirt. And this is Summer Angel. I would be very hard pressed to tell you if I even had a favorite. I love each one of them. Just beautiful. So Danielle, thank you so much. Thank you for thinking of me, and thank you for sharing it with me. I really, really appreciate it. I really do. Thank you. Okay, so that was a big Happy Mail. Then I got a Christmas card. If you'll recall, if you saw some earlier videos, when I talked about the Sevierville retreat that I went to in November, that we had the gift box exchanges, and I mentioned that my first box that I picked got stolen very quickly. Well, it was stolen again. And the person who actually wound up with it was my friend Joanna. And Joanna knew that there were some parts of that package that I really, really wanted. And one of them was a pattern that I wanted to stitch. And so, bless her heart, she stitched it right away and sent it to me with her Christmas card. So, Merry Christmas to me. Thank you, Joanna. You're so kind and so thoughtful. And a lot of you have done this one, Pumpkin Spice Farm. I just love it. I can't wait. And if you'll recall, my son gave me some beautiful threads for Christmas, and this is one of them. I was trying to see if I had a white background, but this sparkling orange krynic may have to find its way into this pumpkin right here. Wouldn't that be gorgeous? So I'm going to put this thread right in here with it because I would really like to use that. So there we go. And now I have the thread saved with pattern. Isn't that lovely? Okay. So the next thing I want to share with you is something that I just recently showed you in its kit form. This was one of the kits my son gave me for Christmas, and I talked about how precious it was and how I had wanted it before. So allow me just to show you my new start. I couldn't stand it. And so I've gotten started on it. And I just went and started at the top, in the top corner up here. And so that's where that is. Isn't that beautiful? I have read and I have looked at the pattern, and what I have discovered is, true to the gold collection tradition, there are multiple numbers of flosses that are used. So you may have the same color. For one symbol, it'll be the normal 2 strands. For another symbol, it'll be 3 or 4. And in addition to that, it could be one symbol is full stitches, and another one of those symbols for that same color will be half stitch. So right now, what I have done for you here, I don't know if you can tell the difference, but those are all half stitches, but they're with 3 and 4 threads over 1 on this 18 count Aida. So I'm having to pull hard to get it through there. But I think it's going to be beautiful, and I think it's going to add that layered look, you know, that it has. But I'm going to work on this probably for a day or 2 and get a really good start on it, because this is small enough, as you can see, to be portable. And I'm looking for something that I can take when I go to stitchy meetups, and so this will probably be the thing that I work on the most when I go. But I just had to share that with you. Just had to. And of course my new precious Happy Mail. So now for the big thing. Hold on. I just got back from the framers. Yep, she's here. I mentioned earlier that I was collaborating with Kate from Cowgirl Kate Paints Aplenty on the framing of Sleeping Beauty. And for those of you who may be new to the channel, I won that pattern on a giveaway that Kate did early on. I think it was probably her first one. It was definitely the first one I ever won. And I started it with Kate in a sal May 12th of 2016. And I finished it this year. So this piece has a lot of meaning because I won the pattern and the fabric from Kate. And I was talking with her about how I wanted to frame it, and she mentioned that I might want to have the matte painted. And I said, oh, I would love to, but I just don't think I have, you know, the wherewithal to do that. And we talked about it, and Kate offered to paint it for me, and if I was okay with that, if I trusted her to do that. And as I've said before, I trusted Kate's painting because I've seen it. I've seen her beautiful canvases. So I asked Kate to be ready, because when you see this, I have a feeling some of you are going to want her to do similar things for you. And so we'll see if this launches a new sideline to her business. But anyway, I went today and picked up my framed Sleeping Beauty. And I'm going to turn it around so you can see it. And I may have to stand up and back up for you to get the full effect. Move this chair out of the way. Here is Sleeping Beauty. And I'm sorry I can't get all the glare off, but there you have it. So let me come a little closer and tell you a little bit about some of these components. Here's the painted mat. Is that beautiful or what? I'm just thrilled. Absolutely thrilled with it. It's in that corner and this corner. It has a beautiful frame, if you can see it there. There are actually swirls in the frame that mimic all those swirls of beads in her dress. Picked it for that reason. And the gold is a really almost tarnished gold to match those hues of gold green in her flowers. And there's a fillet in there, as you can see. So with a mat and a fillet, it was enough room to stay off all those beads. But anyway, here she is. I'll back up again and try to get it where you can see her. There you go. Sleeping Beauty. I think she turned out beautifully. I hope you like her. She's gonna take a place of honor on my wall. Let me set her down. Thank you for letting me do that. Sorry to be out of the view there for a moment, but anyway. I'm very happy with my framer. I think she did a wonderful job helping me pick it out, and she worked with me because these things are not inexpensive to do, especially that large. And so she worked with me, and I wound up doing my own pinning and lacing, both for this and Quaker Christmas too, and it saved me over $100 on each of them because that's just very labor intensive. And so that helped me to be able to do this. So this is a part of my Christmas, you know, getting that framed. So thank you to my hubby for that. And I just want to thank you, Kate. It's beautiful, and I hope you are as proud of it as I am. I just love it. I think it's beautiful. And I have a fun story to tell you. When I went in to pick it up today, this is a frame shop that does mostly people's artwork that they've purchased, canvases and prints and things. They do also do needlework, but they don't get a lot of it. However, they do pin it. They don't lace it. So mine is both pinned and laced because I did it. But the lady that I talked to is very, very knowledgeable, and she was very helpful. And but you know, they don't get a lot of needlework. So I know I'm kind of new to them. And today, when I went in, my Sleeping Beauty, framed and ready to go, was on an easel in a very prominent display area of their shop. So they obviously thought it looked pretty good too. I was real happy to see it there. And when I came in and I picked it up, the lady who had helped me there said that one of their other customers had been in that day to pick up a small piece that she had had framed as a gift for her niece for Christmas. And it was a cross stitch piece. It was an initial that she had stitched with a beautiful background, and she just had it framed to give to her niece. And when she came in, mine was on display, my Sleeping Beauty. And she asked the lady at the framing shop who did that. She wanted to know who had stitched that piece because she's a cross stitcher, and apparently she's just gotten started. And what she had done was a pretty simple piece. However, you know, anything we do is important. But she was so overwhelmed with this one, she just couldn't imagine. And she asked who it was. And so I encouraged the shop owner to feel free to share my information, my contact information with this lady, because I'd love to invite her to our stitching group. And I think it would be fun to get to know her. And that means there's another local stitcher somewhere here in Gainesville. So I'm hoping that she will get us together, at least, you know, talking to one another, so I can invite her to come in January when we meet again. And so that's all I have for you today. I hope to be doing a little more work on Kiss for Snowman before the end of this rotation on it, and then I'll be keeping it as my travel piece. So happy stitching, everyone, and I'll talk to you soon. Bye. Good evening, everyone. Merry Christmas. Today is Christmas Day, and we have had a fabulous day today, and I just wanted to stop in and give you a quick update and wish you a very Merry Christmas. I've been working on one of my Christmas pieces, 12 Days by Jim Shore, and I have just a little bit of progress on my piece that I can share with you today. So I'll share that with you now. I had filled in the white part of his belt, and I have come over here and started working on the red in this side of his coat. And I'm thinking that I may fill that in over at least to where his staff is that goes up. And then I may start working on upward as I had started progressing up here and had gotten up here. But I wanted to fill this in a little bit just to ground it some. Anyway, I'm enjoying it. It's been a fun stitch, and I have worked on it a little bit over the last couple of days with all the holiday celebrations and opening of gifts and just various things. Anyway, I have decided, since my husband is going hiking, that I'm inviting a couple of people who live close by to come over and stitch on Thursday. And so tomorrow will be spent with my sister and also straightening up and tidying up my stitching room and getting it ready for company. The other thing I have to tell you is that my Sleeping Beauty's on the wall. That's right. My husband hung her up for me today. So I will tell you good night for tonight. And after I do that, I'll pause the camera, I'll turn it around, and I'll just show you where she is in her new home. Good night, everyone. Merry Christmas. I hope you've had a fabulous day. Okay, we're in my sewing room and my stitching spot. And there's the place of honor for my Sleeping Beauty. I will be able to see her every day. It'll be wonderful. You'll notice this is my picture rail that I have up in my room that's behind me when you normally see me videoing. And so this is on the wall next to me. There's my sewing desk right next to me. And so she has a big place of honor there, and I'll get to see her every single day. Thanks for letting me share her with you in her new home. Happy stitching, everyone. Hello, everyone. Welcome back. This is Dina, and today is Saturday, and it is the 29th of December, and I'm here to give you a brief update on my latest whip. I pulled out the Flowers of the Holy Night to work on it a little bit more before the end of the year. And when we last spoke, I mentioned that I would like to bring it on down to the midpoint of the pattern, the page break, and work my way to complete that whole section so that I would be on the second half next year. Well, I've done some progress toward that, and I'll show you where I've gotten to. I actually was able to bring this side of the poinsettia down. I got this one done and this leaf done. And so now the leaf here is actually below the page break. And part of this is below the page break. So now there's a little poinsettia like this over here that needs to be done. And then, of course, the mirror on the other side, the leaf and the poinsettia here. And it's only the top half of the poinsettia that's on that page. But I went ahead and got the big one almost finished, and went ahead and got this leaf done. And I think that's where I'm gonna stop. I've enjoyed it, it's fun. I'm still gonna work on it in the coming year. I'm not putting it away or anything, I'm just putting it away for this rotation. But I wanted you to see, I've had to roll it up on my scroll frame. You used to be able to see the whole thing, and now you can't. So that just shows you how I am making progress on it. But what I wanted to do today is put this away, and I wanted to get started on a new start for January. I wanted to do Cathy Habermann's monthly series that she re-released, and I got that pattern. right before Christmas. So I'm going to kit that up today and get started on it because I would love to have my January stitched before the month of January, and I would have a couple of days to do that. I'm hoping I can get it done in that amount of time. So I may or may not be able to share that with you before the end of the year, but I just wanted to let you know that I had made this my final Christmas piece that I was stitching on, and now that it's after Christmas, I'm looking toward my new year and all my new starts, and I'm getting ready to begin stitching for 2019. This January piece would be the first of a series. I would like to stitch one every month, so I'm hoping to get to do that. I hope you've had a great holiday and that you're ready for New Year's. We don't have anything special planned this year. My husband was supposed to be on the Appalachian Trail in Virginia over New Year's Eve, but he surprised me and he called me night before last and said that they had gotten stuck in a snow blizzard while they were hiking, and they were able to make it to a trailhead before it became nightfall, and they called a shuttle driver to come and get them out. They were smart enough to know that they were probably in danger of not being able to stay warm enough. They couldn't get their tents set up because the wind was blowing about 50 miles an hour and was just blowing snow everywhere. They couldn't see the trail. So I think they made a wise decision to cut it short and come on back home. I hope you get to spend time with people you love and doing the things that you love. You know, there's an old saying that whatever you're doing on New Year's Eve when it turns midnight, you'll be doing a lot the next year. So I always try to stitch. We'll see. We'll see how that goes. But if I don't get to talk to you before then, Happy New Year, everyone. And as always, happy stitching. Bye. Hello, everyone. This is Dina. Welcome back to my channel. Today is Sunday, December 30th. It is almost New Year's Eve. So Happy New Year, everyone. I'm actually going to try to get this video edited and uploaded tomorrow morning if I can, so that I'll be telling you Happy New Year's on New Year's Eve. Wouldn't that be nice? I wanted to come today and sort of wrap up 2018. I have a few things to share with you, and I appreciate you giving me a little bit of your time today for me to talk with you about the end of the year and the beginning of 2019. First things first, I have a finish. I had decided that I was going to stitch a monthly series next year that I saw Cathy Habermann re-release. And this is her year of celebrations. And I got it as soon as I could. I was stalking the Etsy stores and the 1-2-3 Stitch and everything she had on her website as to where you could get her patterns until I found it. I was waiting on it. I saw her video announcing it, and I thought, I want that. I had not seen this in magazines because I hadn't been subscribing to magazines for several years, and so this was new to me, and I just fell in love with it. I love the colors. They're so bright and cheery, and I love the fact that it's small, doesn't take up a lot of space, and I'm going to probably finish it in a similar fashion in some way where these can be replaced each month, and I can easily display them as the month is there. So in order to be ready for January, I decided that now that Christmas was over, I didn't really want to stitch Christmas for my last few days. So I started this yesterday and I finished it today. So here is my finish. I'm sorry, I hit the camera. Now this will show you what these colors look like in the DMC equivalents because I didn't use the hand-dyed threads. I didn't have them all. So I just pulled DMC. I wanted to get started yesterday, and Cathy was kind enough to have the DMC conversion right on the pattern. And so Cathy, thank you for that. And I was able to get January done. This is fabric that I purchased for this project, and it is a 32 count Belfast linen. It's in Oaken, and it's by Picture This Plus. I think it's beautiful. I got a big piece of it, so I could do all of them on here. And I've left it whole for now, just so that I'll have an easier time holding it, you know, in my Q-snap or my hoop or something like that as I'm working on it. But that's my final finish for 2018. Isn't that amazing? So I decided it was time to do just a little bit of an evaluation of the year. I know I've had a wonderful time stitching this year. So I thought I would do a little analysis, not as in-depth, Brian, as you do, but I like to look back and just kind of get a flavor for how the year went. And there are a few things that I counted up and looked at. So I can tell you that this year in 2018 with this finish, I had 39 finishes in 2018. I know a lot of people have had more than that, but I'm very tickled to have that many. I'm very, very happy with that. Of those 39 finishes, there were 4 that I considered to be fairly large. One was Into the Autumn Sky. It was a Mirabilia, and it is on display in our local library right now with some other stitchers' work, and it'll be there till January. And then Firefly Fairies, which is right up here. And I won't move the camera and make you ill, but it's right there on my picture railing. And Sleeping Beauty, which was just recently shared with you, is now hanging on my wall right here where I can see her. And Quaker Christmas, it's hanging on the wall in my dining room. So those were 4 fairly large projects, 2 of which were, you know, older whips I had been working on since 2016, and I got them finished this year, and I'm so pleased with that. So let's talk about old whips. I currently have 7 whips, and that's not bad. I'm going into the year with only 7 whips. Of those 7 whips, there are 3 that I consider long-term, or I've been working on for a little bit of time. The first is Ashley's Roses, and I started it in July of 2017, and I didn't get it finished this year. And I'll speak a little bit more about that in a second. But I've gotten a good bit done on it, and I'm going to be working on it again every month until I do finish it. Nantucket Rose, I started in August of 2017, and she'll be carried over 1 more year. And again, I'm about maybe halfway through, not quite. There's a lot of stitching in that dress at the bottom, but a lot of the confetti stuff I'm working my way through, and then I hope it goes a little bit quicker when I get to that skirt and have bigger blocks of color. And then I have Flowers of the Holy Night, which I started in December of 2017, but as you know, I put it on hold for a little while because I wanted to wait for those scroll frame to come in to keep the silk threads from scraping against the fabric underneath the Q-snap. And once I got those, I started working on it, and it's going pretty quick. So I may eke a finish out of that one too next year. So we'll see. We'll see. But of the 7 whips I'm carrying forward, those are the only 3 that I had started prior to this year. So the rest of them are fairly new, and I think that's wonderful. Let's talk about this year. Of those 39 finishes that I had, 19 of them were smalls. And the reason I say that is because 13 of them were from my Little House Needleworks Hometown Holidays series that I stitched. and I finished this year and put out as my Christmas decorations. And so there's 13 smalls right there. And then I started working on those little sheep virtues on that Afghan, and I have finished 6 of those. So when you add those together, that's 19 finishes for those little smalls that were in those 2 series alone. So that really helped my numbers. Makes it sound like I've been busy, and I have been. You know, they're beautiful pieces, and the hometown holidays ones are fairly detailed. So I enjoyed working on those. Of those 39 finishes, I had 9 gifts that I stitched. And if you have been watching me for a while, you know the first year that I stitched, almost all of them were gifts. And so I had made a plan this past year to par back on the gifts and do a little more stitching for my home. And that's why I did the hometown holidays, and why I started the Afghan with the little sheep virtues, and why I pushed so hard to finish my pictures that I did, because they were going up in my home. So 9 gifts, not too bad. They were birthday presents and Christmas presents. They were ornament exchanges at retreats. And then there was a very special gift, and that was the squares that I stitched for a quilt for one of our very own floss tubers who had a loss of a family member this past year. And a number of us went together and stitched blocks for a quilt. And I know that's been gifted now, so I can say something about it. And that was a very meaningful stitch for me. Probably one of the more meaningful stitches I've ever done. Meant a lot to me to be able to do that. There are some firsts this year I want to talk about. It was the first year I've ever stitched biscornues. I had been so afraid of them, and they're so much fun. What was I missing out on? I've stitched 2 now. The first one I did give away, and the second I kept. And so I've done 2 of those now, and I have been gifted a biscornu pattern for next year that I'm excited to do. So I have a feeling that there's some future biscornus that will be coming along the way. In addition to that being a first, I participated in my very first round robin in 2018. I had a fabulous group, and Deb and Liz, the Country Stitchers, did a wonderful job putting that together. And I had such a good time stitching on it and meeting the ladies and exchanging that in the end. And we made it a wonderful experience. And I thank each and every one of you ladies for doing that, for your beautiful stitching and just your beautiful souls. Thank you for being my friends. I look forward to seeing you again in the coming year and us getting together and stitching some more. So, how about it? What else can I tell you about 2018? Well, why didn't I finish all of those whips? If I'm only carrying around 7 to 8 whips, how come I couldn't finish them in a year? So I went back to see about that. Could be because I had 35 new starts last year. I wasn't just stitching on those pieces. I started 35 new things. Oh well. And here I am sweating bullets over the fact that I said I was going to start 12 new things in 2019. 12? I started 35 this past year. So I'm hoping I can survive starting 12. I think it'll be okay. I may not finish them all. That's okay. But I do want to get them started. And I'm looking forward to that. I can hardly wait. I also have been participating in stitch-alongs ever since I found FlossTube and the Facebook groups, and I just want to thank the admins for both Stitch Mania and Cross Stitch Finish Line and several others, too many to name, that I look through when I go and participate in SALs. And I've told you guys this before. This is not a surprise to you. I only participate in a SAL if I have a piece that I think fits it. I try not to pick a sale and then go find something for it. I look to see what sales are there that I have something that would already lend itself for that sale. And then that's how I decide that I'm going to stitch on that project during that time. And then I fill in the rest of my projects around it. So I pick my sales and I plan my whips for them first. And then I work on the rest of them later on in the month. So this year I participated in 31 sales. I know that is a lot less than I participated in last year, but my focus was a little different this year. Last year I wanted to participate in as many sales as I could because I wanted to meet people and I wanted to push myself to think creatively and to stitch more variety, and I think that helped. This year though, my goal was to get some finishes on my big projects. I wanted to finish Sleeping Beauty. I wanted to finish Quaker Christmas. I wanted to finish all of them, but I didn't get to. But I did, I think, do pretty good. So I'm happy with the results. In the coming year though, because I will be working on all these new starts and I will have a lot more whips than I am used to having, I felt like participating in as many sales as I could fit my whips into would help me stay focused and motivated to keep working on them, because I don't want to get overwhelmed with the number of whips I have. So if I have them scheduled for these sales, then I think that'll help me, to keep up with stitching on them. So I'm hoping to do a lot more sales next year than I did this past year, and we'll just have to see how that goes. Sometimes life gets in the way and you just don't get to stitch it on that day. So that's okay too. Well, how is 2019 looking? I am carrying 7 whips forward, and of those 7 whips, there are only a few, the 3 of them that I'm carrying that are long term. Ashley's Roses and Nantucket Rose and Flowers of the Holy Night. They were all started in 2017 in July, August, and December. And so I will carry them forward into 2019 and try to get a finish on them. Everything else of those 7 I've started this year, and so I will be working to try to finish those next year. I have 12 new starts planned as a minimum. I have 2 monthly series I'll be working on. The hands-on design, a year of celebrations, and then I'll be finishing up my little sheep virtues. And then who knows what else I may come up with. Since I had 35 starts this year, who knows? But what I would like to do now is just say a thank you to all of you for hanging in there with me and coming back to visit. January is a very special month for me on FlossTube. It's my Flossiversary. I started making floss tubes in January of 2016, so this will be my 3rd year in 2019, and I think that calls for a little bit of a celebration. And since I've also just passed 3,500 subscribers, I'm going to give away 2 things, 1 for each. And what I'm going to do is ask that you be a subscriber. I'm going to ask that you not say anything about a giveaway in your comments. I'd hate to have to delete them, but I don't want trolls to jump in and take away something you might enjoy. And what I'm going to do is show you 2 packages that I'm giving away. And I'll tell you sort of a keyword, that'll help me know which one you're interested in if you want to participate in the drawing. You're welcome to put your name in for both, but as par for the course, if you win one, I will not pull your name for the second. If that happened, I would just go to the next and pull again, because I don't think it would be fair to have the same person win both. I'd like to have at least 2 winners. It doesn't matter where you live, I'll ship it anywhere, and that's one of the reasons I've kept it simple, and it's just patterns, because then I hopefully could mail that easier if it's out of country. So I just went through some of the finishes I've had in the last year or two, and there are two designers that I have that I think are fairly popular, and so I'm hoping that you'll like one or the other. And I hope you'll let me know if you do, so I can put your name in for a chance to get it. The first is a series of patterns that I've stitched for my sister Stephanie, and now I'm ready to share these with someone else. So these are the Plum Street samplers designs that have the little dachshunds on them. They're so cute. This is Jeans and Weenies. This one is Halloweenies. And I changed mine a little bit and put some bats on it, but this is the original pattern. And there's a third one, and it's called Turkey Sausage. So cute. They're dressed up like pilgrims. Precious, precious, precious. So if you're interested in this, please put in your comment that you would like to stitch the Plum Street sampler patterns, or that you would like to stitch the dachshunds. Either one's fine. If you can't remember Plum Street, then you might be able to remember the dachshunds. The second group, this will be for the second drawing, are 3 patterns as well, but they're all Little House Needleworks. So the first one is this old doll. And this is a sweet poem. It says, she sits on a shelf, tattered and worn, her hair a mess, her apron torn. With just one look, it's plain to see this doll was very loved by me. So I love that. I did that for a friend of mine, and I would love to share that with you if you'd like to stitch it. The next one is one I did for 4th of July. It's called 4 Freedoms. And it says, freedom of speech, freedom of worship, freedom from want, and freedom from fear. And I've seen a couple of people stitch this since I have. I think there's someone stitching it right now. But anyway, I wanted to share that with you all. And the third Little House Needlework is one that's very popular, and you may already have it, but in case you don't, here's Home of the Needleworker 2. So if you want these 3 patterns, then you just say you want to stitch the Little House Needleworks patterns. Just put Little House Needleworks in your comments, so I'll know you want these 3. If it turns out that there's only one of each of these you like, that's okay. If you get the packet, if you're the winner, feel free to share them with other stitchers who are going to stitch them. That's the main thing. I just want to allow other people to enjoy them and get to stitch them. So I just want to say thank you again for being so kind to me and so welcoming into the community. And I would like to wish you all a Happy New Year. I would like to mention that there have been a number of our community that have suffered great loss this year. There have been family members that they've lost, health issues that have come up, and I know this is a hard time during the holidays for you, and I just want to let you know you're in my thoughts and prayers. And I hope that 2019 is a healthy and happy year for all of you. So, everyone, Happy New Year and happy stitching. See you next year. Bye.